Good day to everyone who are watching. So I'm Jude, the group leader of the Group 6. And our topic is about the Mulbog tribe. So just like the other tribes that have been discussed by the other group, Mulbog is considered as the indigenous group that is located here in Palawan according to UNESCO. Now, we will talk about the place of settlement of the Mulbog tribe that will be discussed by Rika.
The place settlement of Mulbog, the Mulbog tribes, also known as the Muliboganon tribes, belong to a group of indigenous people who live from the southern part of Palawan. The Mulbog people are primarily settled on Balabac Island. They are also found in coastal areas of Balabac, including Barangay Sarong, Bataraza, and have migrated south Bangi and Balambangan Island in Sabah.
So now, dahil alam na natin ang kanilang place of settlement, let's talk about their ancestry or the ancestors of the Mulbog tribe. So, nilagay po namin Austronesian and Malay. And wala po kaming nakita na pag-aaral na directly sinasabi na ang kanilang ancestors ay Austronesian and Malay. But we came up in this idea po dahil sa iba't ibang research din na naming napag-aralan. So, basahin ko po muna, no? The Mulbog is one of the Muslim cultural minorities, a people group believed to have been migrants from North Borneo. This group is also known as Malibogan or Muliboganon. So, yung Mulbog daw po is originally, sila daw po ay migrants from North Borneo or sa Malaysia. And next po, basahin ko, the Mulbog's location, Balabac Island, is the usual place for stopover by Tausug traders traveling between Brunei, Palawan, and Sulu for replenishment of their food and water supplies. It is through this that the Mulbog have constant contact with the Tausug. So, sabi po dito na yung Balabac Island po, which is saan, lugar kung saan located po yung Mulbog tribe ngayon, ay ito yung place kung saan po naging stopover ng mga traders from North Borneo or yung Brunei and yung mga taga Sulu. So, stopover po siya ng mga trader para po sila ay mag-imbak ng mga pagkain at tubig. So, doon po nagsimula yung interaction po between sa mga traders na yon at sa mga tao before dun sila naging Mulbog. Next po, basahin ko, intermarriages between Tausug and the Mulbog people is allowed, and offspring of these marriages are known as Kulibogan or half-breed. It is also through this process that the Mulbog are Islamized very rapidly. Linguistically, the Mulbog language has some lexical similarity with Sama, Tausug, and Palawano. So yun, sinasabi po na allowed po yung intermarriages between po sa mga Tausug and Mulbog. Kaya mabilis din pong kumalat yung tradition nila or yung kultura nila and yung kanilang religion na Islam. So, linguistically, the Mulbog language has some lexical similarity with Sama, Tausug, and Palawan. So, next slide. Ethnically, the Mulbog was previously a subgroup of the larger Palawan people and later become as it is due to Islamic influences from the Tausug and Sama Bajau peoples. So, according din po sa study na to, no, ethnically, the Mulbog was previously a subgroup of the larger Palawan people and later become as it due to Islamic influence from the Tausug and Sama Bajau peoples. So, yun po sinasabi na before po ay maging identity nila yung Mulbog, subgroup sila ng Palawan. So, sila ay Palawan. Then, na later on naging Mulbog dahil po sa influence ng Islamic influence from Tausug na galing po sa Sulu trade. Kagaya po na sinabi kanina, yung mga traders from Sulu and sa North Borneo, no, doon yung naging stopover nila, yung Balabac Island. So, nagkaroon po ng interaction between sa mga Palawan na yon na nagka-intermarriage na influence po yung mga taga Palawan ng kanilang religion, culture, and tradition, which is yun na po, kaya later on nagkaroon ng sarili silang identity, which is natawag po natin ngayong mulbog. So yun po, kaya according po sa lahat ng study na yun, kaya kami ay came up sa idea na kanilang ancestors ay Austronesian, since sila ay Palawan din, nasa group sila ng Palawan. So ang Palawan ay alam natin na yung kanilang ancestors ay mga Austronesian, and also the Malay, no? So yun po.
Let's proceed to the subsistence of Mulbog. The Mulbog rely on farming, fishing. They cultivate crops such as coconut, tapioca, corn, rain-fed rice, and plantains. Additionally, some engage in gathering minor forest products, raising livestock, and occasional barter trading with their neighboring communities for their livelihood. They are related to the Orang Tidong or Tirom, an Islamized indigenous group living in the northeast coast of Sabah. Ang karaniwang subsistence ng mga mulbog ay pagsasaka katulad ng pagkakaingin, pangingisda at pagtatanim ng mga niyog at tapioca. Ang tapioca ay isang uri ng root crops like cassava, mais at palay at plantains. Ang plantains naman ay isang variant ng saging, which is mas malaki at may kahabaan kumpara sa ordinaryong saging. At ang ibang mulbog naman ay nangagalo ng mga forest products, pag-aalaga ng mga hayop, at barter trading paminsan-minsan. Ang barter trading ay palitan ng produkto in the same value or price sa kakatig-isla ng Tidong, Turom, or Tirom, where an indigenous located at northeast coast of Sabah and Malaysia. Slash and burn agriculture. The Mulbog community has a farming method that's been passed down for generations. They use a method called pagkakaingin or slash and burn agriculture, which includes clearing a patch of land in the forest. Firstly, they choose a patch of overgrown vegetation, then they chop down trees and plants, letting them dry out completely. Once dried out, they burn the whole patch to clear the area and nourish the soil through the ashes. The ashes serve as a fertilizer, enriching the soil and making the land an ideal area for planting. After planting and tending to their crops, the Mulbog people harvest what they have grown to sustain their livelihood and needs. Ang pagkakaingin ay isa din sa mga subsistence ng mga Mulbog. Nagmula pa ito sa kanilang mga ancestry o kanunuan, kung saan nilinis nila ang isang area upang pagtamnan ng kanilang mga pananim tulad ng palay, mais at kasaba. Karaniwang ginagawa ang pagkaingin sa mga kagubatan at minsan sa mga patag na area, kung saan pinuputol nila at nililinis ang masukal na bundok, pinutumba ang mga puno, at kapag ito ay natuyo na, kanila itong sinusunog. Ang abo ang nagsisilbing natural fertilizer sa kanilang mga pananim. Ang pagkakaingin ay karaniwang ginagawa during dry season in the month of December to May. Ang kanilang mga pananim ay nakakatulong sa kanilang livelihood, kabuhayan at pangangailangan sa araw-araw. Aquatic hunting. Living near the sea, the Mulbog population rely on fishing for a living. Fishing is a major element of their daily lives. Moreover, their talent extends beyond the coast, as they confidently cross the ocean and master the art of fishing in the wide expanse of the sea. From expertly maneuvering their boats to casting their nets, the Mulbog people demonstrate their depth connection to the ocean and capacity to flourish in its ever-changing depths. They go out on their boats every day, casting their nets or lines in the sea, and catching a lot of fish and other seafoods. Aquatic hunting o pangingisda. Ang mga Mulbog ay matagpuan sa Balabac, Palawan, which means Balabac is a coastal area, kung kaya't ang karaniwang hanapuhay ng mga tao ng mga Mulbog ay pangingisda sa karagatan. Ang pangingisda ay isa rin sa ikinabubuhay ng mga Mulbog. Ang paglayag sa karagatan gamit ang kanilang maliit na bangka at lambat ay isa rin sa hanapbuhay. Ang paghuli ng mga isda at iba pang lamang dagat na pwedeng ipenta sa market ay nakakatulong sa kanyang livelihood at another source of income. Coconut cultivation or coconut farming is another source of income for the Mulbog people. Aside from slash and burn agriculture and fishing, coconut farming is quite essential for them. They take good care of the coconut trees, ensuring that they produce plenty of coconuts. These coconuts are useful for producing coconut oil and copra, which they may sell. Coconut cultivation or coconut farming ay isa din sa source of income ng mga Mulbog. Aside sa pagkakaingin at pangingisda, ang coconut farming ay isa din sa mga subsistence o livelihood na kakaniwang ikinabubuhay ng mga Mulbog. Ang pagtatanim at pagpapalaki ng mga niyog ay kakaniwan din nilang ginagawa, kung saan pinagkukunan ng kanilang income ang pagbibenta ng kopra o panggawing coconut oil mula sa niyog na pwede nang ibenta sa market.
Magandang araw po. Next po nating i-discuss or i-report is about po sa material culture ng ating Mulbog, ng Mulbog tribe po. So, we have 4 discussions about Mulbog culture po. Mulbog material culture. This is arts. Second is clothing. The third is their musical instrument. Then their food po. So, we will start about the arts. So, their arts po. The art of Mulbog is all weaving style. Let me introduce the arts of Mulbog first. The first is Costa art. Then Demdam, Udang-udang, Ambak-ambak, and Sinenso. The first is the Costa. Costa is the straightforward wave pattern, defined by lines and minimal decoration without any intricate. So, sa madaling sabi po, yung Costa po is, simple, apaka-simpleng design na gawa ng mga Mulbog. Straight line lang siya na wala na siyang madaming design, kundi lines lang. Basta sa madaling sabi, ang Costa is napaka-simpleng style ng weaving ng mga Mulbog. This is the example of Costa po na nakita ko sa ating internet. Next po natin is ating Dimdam. Dimdam is the usual or common banig design crafted by Mulbog. So, yung Dimdam po, yun po yung parang yung banig style, banig po na tinatawag natin kung sa atin. Sa Mulbog tribe po is yun po yung Dimdam. Banig design po yung kanilang pag-wave po is banig design banig design. Yun po yung Demdam. Then the next is yung Udang-udang po. Yung Udang-udang naman po ay the Mulbog weaving pattern inspired by design featuring shrimp motifs po. So ito po is about parang fini-feature ng Mulbog yung shrimp sa kanilang weaving style. Yung design ng ng pag-weave nila is shrimp style po. Then the next po natin is yung ambak-ambak. Yung ambak-ambak, this is the unique design inspired by the colorful pattern found in traditional Mulbog houses. So parang yung ambak-ambak po na sinasabi na ambak-ambak na inaano ng Mulbog, yung parang yung mga design, may mga design na sa kanilang house. Parang may mga naka-display doon na parang weaving. So dito po magbibigay din po ako ng example ng mga ambak-ambak po na unique design inspired na nakikita po sa houses po nila. Then, the last arts po of Mulbog is Sinenso. This weaving design is inspired by the intricate pattern resembling the marks left by Chenso. Yung sa Sinenso naman po, ito po is yung weaving design na inspired by the intricate design. Yung parang may mga design po na hindi siya ganun ka daling gawin. Parang similar po siya ng Costa Arts po. Then parang sa pinakagilid niya po sa baba is sa baba po is yung ano ng Chenso. Ano ba to? Tawag dito. Chenso style, yung blade ba yun? Yung tawag dun. Yung panghiwa ng, pang ano ba yun? Basta yung ngipin po ng Chenso. Next po natin yung kanilang clothing. The first is Rarot. Rarot po, this is the traditional wedding robe. This is the traditional wedding robe for Molbog that mandatory dress during nuptial po. So, yung Rarot po is, nandito po yung kanyang example. At, yung Rarot ito ay, yung para siyang, ito ay ginagamit po sa kanilang traditional wedding. Sa traditional wedding po ng mga Molbog tribe. Mandatory po ito. Mandatory ito sa kanilang wedding. Rarot thrown around the hips and shoulder, boasting complex patterns and livelihoods. Then ang Rarot po is also meant to emphasize the dignity and grace on the day of wedding. Further showcasing the cultural heritage and the crafts po and the crafts of the Molbog tribe. Next po natin is kopya. Yung kopya po is the white cap or white hat na ginagamit ng lalaki po. This is the examples of kopya po. Po natin is yung sablay. Sablay po as worn with the patajong. Worn with the patajong, which is ang patajong po is tinatawag po nila ito na pambaba or sawal kantiu. And top kamban or papanda po. Next po natin is ang kanilang music. Yung kanilang music naman po is based on po dun sa aking na-interviewan friends na galing po sa Molbog tribe. Yung pinaka-main ano po nila is yung agong and kulintangan. This is used po, ito po yung ginagamit nila for their kanilang, main na ginagamit nila para po sa kanilang, if ever po na mayroon po silang mga ceremonies na ginaganap sa kanilang tribe po. Nandito po yung example ng agong instrument and the kulintangan instrument po na ginagamit ng Molbog tribe during their ceremonies po. Aside from the agong and kulintangan of Molbog tribe have two instrumental music pa po. This is the Kodyape and the Tigongo po. Like po na yung Kodyape po is like din po sa other tribe instrument po, like po yung sa Palawan meron din po silang tinatawag na Kodyape. So Kodyape is known for its unique boat shape po. The Kodyape is known for its unique boat shape, structure, and string crafted from animals, tendons, or fibers. So this is the examples of this is the example po ng ating Kodyape. Yung nasa picture po, yan po yung sinatawag na Kodyape. Yan po yung instrumental music ng one of the instrumental music ng ating Molbog tribe po. So next musical instrument po is the Tigongo. So ang Tigongo po is created from the hollowed out coconut shells with taut string composed of tendons or fibers from animals din po. Katulad po siya ng Kodyape yung string. So next natin is yung food ng Molbog tribe. The first food of Molbog tribe is the pinyaram. Pinyaram is a sweet pancake-like snack that originated in Balabac. Yung pinyaram is made of with rice flour and coconut milk. Pwede rin siya yung ordinary milk lang and then yung sugar. Yun yung ingredients sa paggawa ng pinyaram. This delicacy is a mainstay of Molbog festival. The next food of Molbog is panganan. Panganan is a traditional Tausug desserts originated from Sulu archipelago of the Philippines. Ito po yung ginagawa dito is deep fried po. gawa po ito sa buttered flour, then sa sugar. It is known for its crispy, pretzel-like texture and sweetness, making it favorite among the Tausug people. Next is the kuwisipit. Kuwisipit is famously known as kukapit or love letter crisps. Are thin, crispy cookies made by pouring butter on a mold and rolling them up. Given the nickname, they were once believed to be used for secret messages. It is derived from Dutch waffle po. Then, kuwisipit was adopted and became the local favorite among of the Malay and the Peranakan communities. Next food po ng Molbog is jaa. Jaa is also known as lokot-lokot and sambo rolls. So, this is the crunchy and golden brown snack, typically served during the special occasions such as Hari Raya. And this jaa is originated in Zamboanga. Next is pasong. So, yung pasong naman po is type of Tausug bangbang that is native to Tausug. It is like cone shape and gawa po ito sa harina and giniling na bigas, and minsan po gawa po ito sa kasaba. Maihahalin tulad ko po ito sa dito sa atin is yung, if you're familiar po with the kakanin na puso-puso, yun po. The lastly is the potos pitani. Potos pitani, also known as pitis patani. It is rice cake with a purple color that is filled with bukayo or sweetened coconut strip. This Tausug treat and often offered in coffee shop in Zamboanga City, Tawi-Tawi, in downtown Holo. So, maihahalin tulad ko po ito sa mabibili dyan sa labas na kakanin. Like yung nabibiling kakanin na nakabalot siya ng dahon ng saging. Hindi ko na maalala kung anong tawag dun. Ano ba to? If I'm not mistaken, ito yung tinatawag na suman kung sa atin.
So first po is yung religion. So alam natin na yung religion po ng Mulbog is Islam, no? Hindi po tulad ng ibang mga tribes na ang kanilang religion is animism. So due to the influence of Sulu and North Borneo, ang kanilang yung Mulbog ay na-influence ang kanilang religion, which is yung Islam. So dito po meron po dito ang tatlo, may Ramadan, Dua, and Idil Fitr. So, ang Ramadan po is isa tong commemoration of isa tong activity na ginagawa po ng mga Muslims, hindi lamang po ng Mulbog, but buong Muslim po ito sa buong mundo or sa Pilipinas, no? So, alam natin yung Ramadan, ito ay 100 days of fasting sa kanila. And yung Dua naman po, isa tong practices or a form of prayer. So yung last, yung Idil Fitr or Hari Raya, so ang hirap niya i-pronounce. Yun po is, ito na yung last, kumbaga last po ng kanilang, last day ng kanilang fasting ng Ramadan. So next po yung basahin ko, yung Mari Sembayang or Laki-Laki. Ito po ay libro. Ito yung libro para sa mga lalaki. Let's pray yung meaning po, no? So mayroon ding Quran. Yung Quran po is, ito yung kanilang holy book na yung foundation, nakasulat dito yung foundation of Muslim faith and practices. And yun, so andun po yung kanilang sinusunod nilang utos ng kanilang Diyos, no? Yung which is si Allah. And kung sa ating mga Christians, ito yung Holy Bible, no? So next, yung Mari Sembayang. So ito naman po is parang katulad din po ito nung Mari Sembayang na laki-laki, but ito is para naman po sa mga babae, meaning let's pray. No, ito ay for women. So next, yung government. ng Mulbog. No, mayroon tayong tinatawag na mga Mulbog Sultans or chieftain din. Now, the chieftains of the Mulbog tribe are revered leaders known for their wisdom, strength, and deep connection to their ancestral heritage. So, yun. Meron ding royal blood. These are rich Muslims from other countries that became the leaders or sultanis of the tribe. And family hierarchy. In Mulbog culture, a strict adherence to patriarchy is observed, where the father holds the authority to govern the family and is unquestionably obeyed. So, yun. Sabi dito na yung tatay, yung nag-hold ng authority dun sa family. So, dito rin po may yung dialect ng, next is yung dialect ng Mulbog. Ayan. So, hindi ko na po siya i-explain. Papakita na lang po namin dito sa aming PowerPoint. Ayan. Ito po yung kanilang dialect. Dito yung mga meanings or translation po ng mga word. Ayan.
So next is the superstitious beliefs. Superstitious beliefs of Mulbog first clicked in. When the youngest marries first, the older sister must be given a ring. There is a superstition that older sister can't marry. The girl has no choice but to marry when the man asked and the family accept. So dito po sa click din, parang walang magagawa yung babae if yung tinanong ng lalaki kung pwede ba sila magpakasal, and wala siya magagawa if inapprove na inapprove siya ng tinanggap yung pag alok ng kasal ng lalaki, tinanggap ng family niya, wala na siya magagawa. It is considered a huge shame in the family when the girl wants to marry a man, but when a woman goes to man's family or goes to the man and asks to marry her, there is nothing a man can do but to marry her. So parang ganun din sa lalaki. Parang if nagtanong yung lalaki ay yung babae, parang wala silang magagawa kundi yung magpakasal na lang talaga. Next is sweeping. It is forbidden to sweep at dust outside the house because there may be a good spirit that are not visible, which can cause illness to the perpetrator or one of his family. It is forbidden to sweep the house at night. It is as bad as sweeping away the grace from the house. So parang familiar na din po kayo kung bakit about dyan sa sweeping. Meron po tayong pamahiing tayo po ngayon may pamahiin tayo na bawal po magwalis tuwing sasapit na yung hapon. Maybe nga yun nga can cause ng illness one of his family. Meron mga hindi natin nakikita ganun. Tapos sa gabi naman po parang sabi nila tinataboy natin yung grasya. Tinataboy natin ang grasya sa ating bahay if nagwawalis tayo ng gabi. Next is cutting fingernails. When cutting a nail, throw the clip nail out of the house, preferably on Friday. It prevents the evil spirit from entering the home through the discarded nail. Next is prone to dangers. The parents of the brides and grooms will advise them against working or traveling, ideally for a month leading up to the wedding due to potential risk. So dito sa prone to dangers po is pinag-iingat yung brides and grooms para po malayo sa aksidente. And the rituals naman po is pinadungan. Prior to actual planting, a pinadungan is done to harvest, such as making a pinadungan. The owner will harvest the pinadungan first before the whole kaingin is harvested. It is the eldest who will do the ritual in the planting ritual. They put woods and tie it so that the rice will not be easily depleted. So, ito po yung pinadungan na to na rituals nila is ginagawa nila before mag-harvest po ng kaingin. And yung pinaka-eldest po sa kanilang tribe is yun po yung gumagawa ng ritual na ito. Next po is yung pagunting. People give thanks for a child. It means they're showing happiness and appreciation to God for bringing that special little person into their life. So, yung pagunting po, meaning, people give thanks for a child. They're showing po ng ang kanilang happiness and appreciation po sa pagdala ng pagbibigay sa kanila ng special little person po sa kanilang lives. Next po natin yung kanilang marriage. Marriage. A Molbog marriage is an intricate and sacred event with strong ties to the community and history. Families are crucial in arranging marriages, frequently with the approval of the engaged parties. Festivities surrounding the wedding ceremonies are colorful and include eating, symbolic ceremonies, and traditional dances like the ransay. Gift-giving custom, including the sharing of gold jewelry, clothing, livestock, and cash contribution, termed as dowry, represent the family's shared devotion and regard for one another. In the close-knit Molbog community, the union celebrates love, unity, and culture history. In addition to uniting two individuals, it also solidifies familial ties and social alliances. Ransay. The Molbog tribe Ransay traditional dance is a captivating show of grace, rhythm, and cultural history that is frequently performed at festival events, particularly wedding ceremony. The Ransay dance, which is rooted in the centuries-old tradition, is deeply meaningful because it represents the oneness of two people and their families in the holy bond of marriage. The Ransay dance is performed by the single men and women attending the ceremonies, many of whom are also seeking their life partners. So yung Ransay po is the traditional dance is that captivating show of grace, rhythm, and cultural history that is frequently performed at festive event po ng Molbog. Etong Ransay po is pine-perform ng single men and single women po na also seeking their life partners po. Also, this is deeply meaningful po because ito po yung nagre-representa ng pagiging isa ng taong kinakasal and ng kanilang family bond po ng bagong kasal. The next po is the dowry. Dowry. The Molbog tribe's pre-marriage customs involves the bride's family requesting specific items from the groom's family. These goods often include gold jewelry, basic fabric, monetary offerings, livestock such as cows, wedding fest supplies, and other ceremonial essentials. This exchange of gifts represent the family's mutual respect and dedication, ensuring that the wedding ceremonies is adequately organized and celebrated according to custom. So, yung dowry po para sa mga Molbog tribe, yun po yung tawag, and kung sa atin naman po is ito yung pamamanhikan. Yung pag-o-offer po ng lalaki, yun ang side ng lalaki, para po sa side ng babae, pagbibigay ng mga, like sa kanila, ng gold, jewelry, ganon. This exchange gift represent the family's mutual respect and dedication. and dedication, ensuring that the wedding ceremonies is adequately organized and celebrated according to the custom. Kaya po nagbibigay ng offering yung family ng lalaki sa family ng babae. Next po is the maligay. Maligay, these are items that parents or family of the bride might request before the wedding ceremony. A notable features of this request is the maligay, a miniature house displayed during the ceremony. This unique features hold symbolic significance as it is adorned with food and money. Next, we have the childbirth tradition of Molbog. Childbirth, Molbog women follow a tradition in which they are not allowed to walk on the grounds or soil after giving birth. The next childbirth tradition of Molbog, the Panday. The highly skilled Panday is particularly important personnel in supporting women during labor. They are well versed in traditional methods of child delivery and the use of herbal medicines, and they help the woman mothers on their preparation journey. The Molbog Panday guarantees Molbog ladies the secure, firm cultural events during childbirth with their knowledge and humanism. In the burial, they have 3 burial of Molbog. The first is the Sondok. Sondok is the Molbog term for the 2 wooden markers placed at the head and foot of a deceased individual's burial site. The next burial of Molbog is Kukuputi. Kukuputi is a white cloth used to wrap the deceased body, serving as a shroud or covering the coffin during burial. So ito po yung white na tela na binabalot sa namatay. It is a wide tradition of Molbog ethno-linguistic groups that they do not use coffins after wrapping this cloth. The body is tied up and only removed. The last burial of Molbog is called 24 hours burial. After a person passes away, there is a tradition among all Moro groups in the Philippines where the deceased is buried within 24 hours. Next is the healing of Molbog tribe. The Molbog have 2 ways of healing. First is the herbal medicine. Molbog herbal medicines encompass a variety of plant parts, including roots, leaves, stems, and flowers. These natural remedies are applied topically to wounds or consumed as extract to address various illnesses. The next way of healing of Molbog is called oration. The Molbog practice or oration is employed when a person's illness is suspected to be caused by the evil spirits. So ginagawa nila yung oration na to if yung illness o yung cause ng sakit ng isa sa kanilang tribo ay gawa ng evil spirit.
Good day everyone. Dako naman po tayo sa environmental challenges. Una ay human to crocodile conflicts. The Molbog's people deep respect for crocodile, viewing the as a sacred ancestors, has led to complex interactions. Despite their reverence, increased crocodile attacks have occurred. Sabi na dito, sobrang mahalaga or nirespeto ng mga Molbog's people sa kanilang lugar yung mga buhaya dahil pinaniwalaan nila itong kanilang mga sagradong ancestors, mga ninuno, at kaya pinagbawalan sa kanilang lugar na saktan or patayin yung mga buhaya. Pero habang tumatagal ay nababahala na sila or natatakot dahil marami ng crocodile attacks yung mga nangyari sa kanilang lugar, at naguguluhan din sila kung ano nga ba yung unahin nila o yung mga tao ba na napapahamak o yung kanilang paniniwala.
Socio-cultural challenges. Displacement from ancestral land. Since the era of material law, the Molbog have been forcibly removed from their ancestral terrace.
on Bugsok Island to make way for corporate plantation, notably for coconut cultivation. This displacement has eroded their cultural ties to the land and disrupted traditional practices. Sabi daw po dito na mula noong panahon ng batas militar, sa pilitang pinaalis ang mga mulbog mula sa kanilang lupaing ninuno sa Bugsok Island. At ginawa daw po ito para bigyang daan ang mga plantasyon ng malalaking kumpanya, lalo na sa pagtatanim ng mga niyog. Dahil dito, unti-unti daw nawala ang koneksyon ng mga mulbog sa kanilang lupa at nagulo ang kanilang mga tradisyonal na pamumuhay. Socio-cultural challenges. Human rights violation. Ongoing lands activities have led to allegation of harassment and intimidation by armed forces. Like to corporate interest reports indicates that Mulbog community members have other forms of coercion aimed at forcing them of their lands. Sabi daw po dito na patuloy pa rin daw ang alitan sa lupaing ninuno ng mga mulbog. According to reports, may mga sundalo o armadong grupo daw na umano'y konektado sa malaking kumpanya ang nananakot at nang haharas ng mga mulbog, at may mga pagkakataon pa daw na tinututukan sila ng baril at pinipilit na umalis sa kanilang lupain. Ito ay malinaw na paglabag sa kanilang karapatan bilang mga katutubo.
Ang tribong Mulbog ay isa sa mga katutubo sa katimugang bahagi ng Palawan. Particular dito sa Palabac Island ay may tradisyonal na ekonomiya na malapit na nakatali sa kanilang kapaligiran. Ang kanilang kabuhayan ay pangunahing nakasalay sa pangisda, pagsasaka at pagngangalap ng mga likas na yaman mula sa kagubatan at dagat. Ang pangisda ay isa sa pangunahing pinagkakitaan at pagkain ng mga tribong Mulbog na gumagamit ng mga tradisyonal na pamaraan tulad ng lambat, nets at maliit na bangka. Nanguhuli sila ng mga isda, alimango at mga produkto na dagat sa kanilang kinakain o binibenta ng mga lokal na pamilyan. At isa dito ang pagsasaka. Karaniwan silang nagsasagawa ng subsistence agriculture na tatanim ng mga palay, kamuting kahoy, saging, niyog at mga pananim na ugat. Karamihan sa kanilang ay para sa pang-araw-araw na kinakain ng kanilang pamilya. Ngunit minsan ay nangangalakal o nagbebenta sila ng labis na pananim. At isa rin dito ang produktong kagubatan at dagat. Nangulikta din ang tribong Mulbog ng mga produktong panggubat na tulad ng pulot, ratan at mga halamang gamot. At ang mula naman sa dagat ay tulad ng seaweeds, cucumber at minsan dito ay binibenta o pinapalit sa mga ngalakal. Sa makalipas na taon, ang kanilang tradisyonal na ekonomiya ay naharap sa mga hamon dahil sa banta ng kapaligiran, limitadong pag-access ng mga merkado at mga pressure sa pag-unlad. Gayunpaman, ang mulbog ay patuloy na umaangkop habang pinapanatili ang kanilang pamaraan sa pamumuhay.
So that's all everyone. Again, we are the Group 5 reporting the Molbog tribe.